Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, hence the black and white jacket. My father used to wear this jacket in the trading post of Chicago, so when he retired, I put it on as a game-worn jersey, and the rest is history. So why don't we not waste any more of your time, and let's jump in to see what these markets are doing, because ultimately that's going to be your money, and they're pretty quiet here. We've got a Columbus Day holiday upon us right now, and a USDA report tomorrow. So everything's showing up as just kind of quiet. December's off 1.25 cents. East corn is off 1.25 cents at 5.29 while March is off 3/4 of a cent behind it at 5.38 3/4. How about soybeans? What do they look like? Soybeans are also kind of quiet, rolling over just a little bit more though. November's off 3.5 cents at 12.39 while Jan is off 3.25 at 12.51. All right. How about wheat? What's Chicago wheat doing? That's this one's well, it's a better board, but still quiet. We're up 0.5 cent in that D's contract, 734.5, while March is up 1/4 cent right behind it at 747.5. Moving right along down the highway to Kansas City, the hard red wheat there. D's and March are both sharply unchanged. All right, so not a lot happening there, as you can tell. Again, a holiday market before a USDA report. Nobody should be shocked that these are the prices that we're seeing here today. Minneapolis, let's take a look. Up in the Cargill land, December's off 1.5 cents at 9.45, while March is off 2.5 cents at 9.33 And cotton, what do we got going on in cotton? That was easier today, and it still is. Dees is off 91 bips at 109.69, and we are lucky to have with us Chris Swift from Swift Trading. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for joining in.
Good morning.
I was going through those prices, and this is going to be totally off track. Okay. But you know why? The number 2 represents a quarter, the number 4 represents a half.
Do I know why that is? Yeah. No, I can't honestly say that.
You don't know that?
No, it's been many years since I've been doing this.
Yeah, my family's been involved since 1962 with the Chicago Board of Trade, and back then they traded in eighths.
Right.
So D's corn would have been, 529.1 would have been an 1/8.
Right.
529.2 is a quarter.
Right, okay.
Right, you get it? So a lot of people don't know that.
Well, it took me forever to get rid of the bushels. We used to always trade grains in bushels. I'd be going, 20,000. I'd be going, oh my gosh, but those bushels, not contracts.
I always bring it up because sometimes people don't know, and it's kind of interesting because most people don't know that, why is 4 a half? Because they think it should be 5.
Right.
But that would be 5/8.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
And that used to be on the board, but we don't do it.
And of course, they still trade options in eighths.
They do. So, yeah. They do. So anyway, all right. That's just a little aside.
Yeah, sure.
On a holiday day.
Yes.
What do you think about tomorrow? What are your thoughts? I mean,
USDA is not historically gamey on raising those yields just yet in this particular report. I don't think they can raise it by too awful much, but we are hearing really good yields coming in. The drought in the northwest area is bad, but it's not as bad on corn. Seemingly this drought-resistant corn is extremely good and able to produce record yields even under these driest of conditions.
We used to say in our family, as my father worked at Cargill, and then we've traded corn since 1962, and it just seems like with those hybrids year in and year out, I always would, you discount them because you think it's going to be worse than it is, and they really do outperform.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Almost to the point now you could grow corn on a 140-degree sidewalk or in a glass of water.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of folks are expecting maybe, if there's anything, the numbers to be a little bit bearish tomorrow. I don't know if that's the case. Who knows? But if they're leaning that way, and we do get a bearish number, it's got to be bearish enough to bring in new sellers.
Yeah, you kind of look at it from the aspect of, we know that it might increase or decrease just a little bit, but 6 months from now, this is not going to make any difference.
Right.
So we're kind of looking at it from a little bit more perspective of, even if it's a little bit larger, maybe we get an opportunity to buy it a little bit cheaper for our cattle producers.
Right.
If it's a little bit, status quo as is, we already own a little bit, we might have to own a little bit more.
You're more than true on that. Okay, thank you. Stay right there. I know you're not going anywhere. But we're going to go away, pay some bills, and come back and talk livestock after these messages. Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Cows like corn. Why don't we jump right in? Let's see what the live cattle are doing here this morning. That's your markets and your money. And again, you can tell, look at this change on the day is very, very quiet. This is a mixed board. The deferreds are slightly high, ever so higher. Maybe by a tick or two. But December's off 5 cents a nickel at 130.20, while Feb's up 2 cents at 134.82. Moving right along to the feeders. What's been happening in the feeder cattle? November's off a dime, 161.05. Jan's up actually a nickel at 161.17. But you can tell this is a holiday market for sure. Lean hogs. How about lean hogs? Just a little bit easier here today. December off $1.05 at 80.45, while Feb's off $1 at 82.87. I'm still joined by Chris Swift from Swift Trading. All right, Chris, anything that tickles your fancy in the livestock market?
Actually, it's pretty dull and boring
Yeah,
right
it is,
now.
right?
We've got processing speeds that don't look like they're going to change anytime soon. Adequate numbers of cattle on feed. Consumers still dealing with very high retail beef prices. Wholesale beef prices now getting very close to what was historical highs around 255. So we're finally reaching back down to what was previously a ceiling and now may become a floor.
I think that really what's going to make the headlines here today is going to be more closely tied to the energy markets. I mean,
Sure.
Have you seen what's been happening over there in nat gas and crude oil today? Got above 81 bucks. It was over up $2 on the day. I mean, slowly but surely, this is going to creep into our producers, right? And it's going to be part of their marketing plan going forward.
It will.
And it's a big deal.
And fewer animals, too. I mean, we know that we've had some liquidation. We've had a little bit elevated cow kill, a little bit heavier heifer placement. So with those two things, we know that we're going to come into the spring just a little bit more shy of inventory. And depending upon weather, if weather permits and we can get some pastures growing back, then we hold back a few more cows and heifers out of the slaughter mix. And if it unfortunately stays as dry as it is, then we unfortunately keep moving those more cows and heifers into the slaughter mix.
And we keep talking about it, but you know, with these marketing plans, you're going to have to factor in what these energies are going to be like. And unfortunately, it seems like some of these inputs might be going through the roof. At the same time, we might not be getting what we'd like to get on the other end for our products, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a double whammy, and that's going to be a tough time. So
energy's tough to overcome right now.
We're going to have to keep an eye on that. All right, well, really appreciate you coming in. Thank
Absolutely,
you very much.
Scott. Yes, sir.
You made it's brightened my day. All right,
Good.
And maybe
good.
it's brightened Tammy's day. We'll throw it back over to her. Thanks, Tammy.